Welcome back to another Plasticon review. Today we're going to do Minibots. Not this style. We are going to look over some Minibots that I had previously done in a little more detail. And another one I accumulated just recently. So, let's start out G1 style. Let's start out with little Brawn here. This little guy. It's like a little Jeep. Very simple design. Visible head syndrome, of course. But you can't really complain. This guy's pretty awesome for exactly what they gave you back in the day. For a fairly old toy from the 80s, yes, this thing is in pretty good condition. His little sticker here is trying to come off, but it's not bad. It's a little rub sign. For those who do not know what a rub sign is, it's a heat generated sticker. You can probably see it pretty good there. It still works. I just need to get ripper labels and replace it. Very simple transformation on this guy. You just kind of stand him up like this. Flip both of his wheels down, which form his legs. You're going to pull out on the sides here. And then you will flip these all the way around. Kind of stiff, but what do you expect from an old toy? Try to pull them out farther. But you can either leave his door wings up like this if you want to, kind of give him a little more kind of, I don't know, the wing kind of look that a lot of the robots have been getting a lot lately. But there you go. There's Brawn. Now let's move over to a updated version of him. He's probably not going to stand up very well because, face it, the G1 Brawn doesn't have very good feet. We're going to move over to the Legends class. Legends Brawn. It's a really good representation of his Generation 1 self. Head sculpt and everything. If I can get it to focus. Yep. See? Nice head sculpt. Decent coloring. Has decent articulation. He actually does have kind of a backward knee joint, but I mean, his Legends figures, they're not going to have a lot of articulation. The only bad thing is it doesn't really have like a head rotation, but I don't know. It still gets a bend over kind of thing, so at least he has a little bit of a hip movement. To transform this guy is very easy. You're basically going to separate him here. With his feet up. Going to click the two here together. The tab here just like that. And before you move all this up, you'll take his arms, rotate them, and push them down. You see that little mechanism in there. It's got that one little bar there that moves down. And you'll just take this and plug it in. And there you go. It's a nice little Jeep. Not bad. Could have dealt with a little more paint apps around the back half of him, but I don't complain. I actually really do adore this guy. He's probably one of the favorites of my Redux, I should say, of Generation 1. Moving on to another Generation 1, we're going to take good old little Gears here. Here's Gears. You can check out his head here, if I can ever get it to focus. So want to focus? There it goes. Yep. Doesn't look anything like he does in the actual cartoon, but I mean, this is Generation 1. You can't really complain. These were awesome toys, especially considering this thing came from Diaclone. So then he's a cool little pickup truck. I like him. All you do with his arms, you just fold his arms down, push them in on the sides, and you just take his little rear feet and fold them over, and there you go. Truck mode. Kind of reminds me of the old Jeeps from the 70s, those Jeep pickups, forget what the hell they call them. Kind of cool. I like them. got a lot of decent stuff here. He's even got a rub sign on top too. I think his works just as well. Yep. For as old as this is, it's pretty awesome that works. If you actually look on the top here, he's got a sunroof, but it's covered by the rub sign. But honestly, who cares? I'd rather keep the rub sign there anyway. Another guy I've got, Beachcomber. I don't have the G1 version of him yet. I will eventually get one. And this is Beachcomber. He's actually got a really cool head sculpt in here. I can get it to focus. And there it goes. If you actually look at the Generation 1 version of him, this is a pretty good representation of him. It's really almost spot on. He does happen to have knee joints, which is kind of nifty. Obviously he's got all those little arm joints going on here. And that's pretty much about it for articulation. What you're going to do here is you will fold out his feet. His feet become seats. And you will pull his waist like this. Fold up his feet, just like that. Peg them together. And you'll kind of fold these in. Kind of be aware of this little gun here that's on the top, because sometimes it tries to get caught on the feet. If you're not careful, you can break it off. And then you will move his little arms in. When you do that, forms the rest of the Jeep. It's pretty cool. I happen to like this thing a lot. It's pretty cool. Kind of reminds me of the Halo Jeeps, but it's an awesome little dune buggy. If you look at the G1, it's pretty good representation of it. I like the silver apps that they use here versus just using like a white or something, because I mean they put the white where it should be. They didn't overdo it on the paint apps on this guy. So. Beachcomber also had a repaint. Sandstorm. It's a repaint, redeco. It looks similar to Sandstorm's colors from the triple changer. Sadly, he's not a triple changer in this. They just decided to do this because, like, product placement like crazy with Hasbro lately. He's the same identical figure. Here, I'll go ahead and transform him real quick for you. That way you guys don't have to go through this painstaking little process here of watching me grunt and moan. Takes a couple minutes here, because he doesn't get transformed as much as Beachcomber does. Yeah, there you go. Kind of like the paint job on him. It's not bad. But Beachcomber will always be my favorite. Last but not least, we've got Wheelie. Here's little Legends Wheelie. It's pretty awesome. I love how they put the slingshot like in his arm right here, like he's got storage. It doesn't come out or anything, but it's kind of cool that they included that. They really didn't have to, but they did. But he's just a little bitty Cybertronian car. Nothing crazy. It's got some pretty decent articulation. His arms do move up and down, side to side. Actually, I think they put a little more articulation in this guy. Sadly, his head does not rotate, but he does happen to have a slight knee. And he does kind of have a foot-toe movement. Yeah, I'll transform this guy. I always just peg his feet together like this. And I'll take his feet, fold them up. They fold up inside. Smooth it off the back of the car. Then you will take this car piece here, push it down like this, take his arm, rotate it around, push it in, same thing on the other side, and as you're doing that, you can kind of push his hood up, and all it takes is just rotating these back around. Push them in, just like this. Kind of makes that part of the car. And then you will just fold them all in, peg them together. There you go. I love the paint on this thing. This thing's almost spot on compared to the Generation 1. I actually like this better than the Generation 1 because the Generation 1 was really, really dorky looking. I mean, it was worse than Brawn. I didn't understand the whole idea of just flip up this middle part for a windshield, and there is his head. And you got this crazy windshield piece that would stick up. And the bad thing about that thing is it would always get busted off. And the head was actually inside that windshield. So if you lost it, then you had a headless wheelie. No pun intended. Anyhow, let you guys get a good look at him. He's a really, really sleek little car. I like him a lot. I mean, I even like the idea they even painted taillights on this, and they did not have to do half the stuff they did to this guy, but they did a lot. A nice little Autobot emblem right there on the front. So, and the cool thing is, it doesn't really have any robot kill showing up underneath, unlike the rest of them. Most of them do. Anyhow. That's been my review for today. Stay tuned. I will have more. I do plan on redoing the previous videos that I did before because I want you guys to see these guys a little more in depth. But this has been Plasticon. I will see you guys later. Peace, y'all.